I do. Money Flow. Where are you from? Roll in the house from Ecuador. And Jake is in the house. What up to you, brethren? Always good to have guys in here sharing experiences, learning, deciding what to do about life, about female nature, about how to maneuver, navigate. George P in the house. Money Flow. George P all the way from across the pond, North Carolina. I hope that's right? North Carolina? Yeah, Pinehurst. Jablonski Nichols, good night, good evening to you. Where are you from? Always great to have you, gents. I wanted to do a surprise one. Well, it was more something on my topic of, oh, good, Pinehurst. My brother used to live out there. At least where you live. Yeah, I wanted to do something that's like, this is a huge deal. Oh, so we got Serbia. Great. Good to have you. Tell us how the women are like in Serbia. Everyone says to go to Serbia and Russia to get a very submissive traditional women. Is that true? I don't think it's true, or you wouldn't be watching these channels. Now, let's talk about this. This has been coming. I get emails about this. I get text messages. I talk to buddies about this. This is a big deal. All right, we got Philly in the house. Collegeville. I had to go out there several times, my brother. Here's the deal. Why men continue to take their ex back? Why do they do it, and why it will ruin you? The man with no name is in the house. Rad, my evil ex just asked me to sign away my rights to my girls, and it'll happen when hell freezes over. Way to put your foot down. Now, there are men in the man with no name situation that will take their ex back. Why do they do it? Right? There's several different reasons. There's a one-itis factor. There's the fact that you have kids and you created a family at one point and you think it'd be better for the kids if you all got back together. In theory, it sounds like a good practice. But see, the destruction has already happened. The ruin is already there. But men continue to take their exes back. Sometimes they just want to recover their kids. I would agree with that. Some guys do it because they want to be around their kids. And I understand that feeling. Now, let's talk about men that continue to take their ex back. They believe there is a significant amount of lack of self-esteem. Okay? It's not the fact that they're, worthless or they just have horrible feelings. There is a lack of self-esteem. They might have been rejected, so they want to get back to the beginning where they weren't rejected. When you're rejected, your emotional state is a roller coaster, right? It's out of control. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. You keep thinking, and they hold on to this fantastical version. John Boston's in the house. I had to go do some things with my kids. My ex is right near me. There's no going back to the ex. I sure as hell hope not. There's the fantasy of the ex. Our minds, if we don't accept that, will go back to the very first moment we met our lady that we loved, we fell in love, we had a family, we had kids, we had a long-term relationship, what have you. Our mind does not want to let things go. Our mind tries to fix things. And I've said it over and over, you have to accept reality. Okay? So that is why men go back. They literally, I've heard it over and over. Guys have been cheated on by their wives. Guys who've had allegations, and they give her the pass. Well, she was having a hard time. We have so much in common. We loved each other. We're really good friends. Well, really? If you were like that, then Why is she rejecting you for somebody else? Well, she just had a hard day, her mother died, or the kids are getting older. There's always an excuse. Now listen to this. Taking your ex back is the biggest way to disrespect yourself. When she rejects you, why would you go back and bathe in dirty water? Why would you go back and expect her to, what, is she going to triple respect you now because you were the bigger person in the picture and you decided, you know what, I'm going to make this work. Come hell or high water. I'm going to humble myself and take her back. We're going to make this work. We're going to go the distance. Bullshit. MGTOW Life is in the house. Always good to see you, brother. We don't take exes back. I don't care how much. Avoid the used bath. That's what it is. You're bathing in dirty bath water expecting to get clean. And that is the reality. You disrespect yourself, and then she disrespects you double. Do you think she's going to reject you again if you take her back? Let's be real. If she cheats on you, she rejects you, realizes the grass isn't greener, wants you back, wants her family back, you go back. Do you really think she is going to go back and be a born-again virgin or a born-again wife? Let's be real. This is the woman who took my kids from me, sued me, kept us in court for 20 months. There is zero trust and have to remain stoic around her. Trust. Right there, you just said it. Never have an ex. The trust is the real deal, guys. Once trust is gone, you can never replant it. You can never put new trust seeds in the ground. It'll be a white elephant, a white cloud, a purple cloud hanging over you every single second of the day. Only to be exacerbated and accelerated through her phone. Remember, she cheated on you once, she'll cheat on you again. She rejected you once, she'll reject you again. In fact, the second, third, fourth time of rejection will be even that much quicker and easier for her. And now she's got you ultimate simped on a pedestal saying, oh my gosh, she'll take me back. I can do whatever I want. Now, everything's flipped. The power's flipped. There's no chasing it. Now you've simped. Now you put her on a pedestal. Now you're begging her. Now you want everything back. And this is why we have to tell our brothers, you can't do it. It'll ruin you. Your self-esteem will be ruined the moment you accept her back. And she'll come knocking. She'll come knocking on that window. She'll call you. She'll send you emojis. She'll send you happy birthday. I was just thinking about the time we went to North Lake Tahoe. It was amazing. Remember that time we danced to that one song outside on the meadow and you gave me a big hug and told me I was the best thing in your life? She'll bring that kind of shit up. What happens to the man? We rethink that. You know what? Maybe she's not as, maybe she changed. There's another one. Maybe she changed. I heard that from a buddy of mine. Oh, she's changed a lot. You have no idea. So much different 10 years later. Are you kidding me? She hasn't changed. In fact, it's only gotten worse. In Serbia, the situation is the same, only if you live in the poor side of the country where people live in small villages, like small 100 to 500 cut off civilization. That's very interesting, Jablonski. Good to know. They don't change, they get worse. 100%, Ian. It's like buying a used rental car. Let's make absolute knowledge. Very good, very good. Never, ever buy a used rental car. Do you know when I rent cars, I drive them over speed bumps, off curbs. I mean, I burn rubber in them. I mean, you thrash them. So the rental car agents, we'll change the oil, we'll get the alignment done, we'll get the shocks done, all that. The car has been literally destroyed and weakened by the people that drive them. And then expecting a new shock is going to fix the whole situation. I guarantee that frame's bent. And that is the reality. The frame is bent in a relationship if you take her back. If she rejects you, that frame is salvage. Salvage vehicle, right? You don't buy salvage cars. MGTOW Life. At best, you will open up yourself for more usury. She will use you. She will use your emotions, your wherewithal, your resources. 100%. They do get worse, then they get everything, but it's too late. They regret everything. Once you pull the pin on the hand grenade and mess around with attorneys in court, this is not the person you married. And we said this once before, John. You don't know your wife until you meet her in divorce court. Mysterio, Rad, you're throwing me off like a woman with your surprise stream. I had to bring this out. I'm on one right now, and I keep getting. What should I do about this guy? Can I take her? Should I take her? No. The answer is no. The used rental car, and that rental car might look nice. It might be shiny. It might be a late model. It might be a year old, but under that frame and under that hood, that car is destroyed. It only looks good on the outside. Remember that, gents. Using her logic and charm is looking at a paint job. But what's underneath it? Mysterio, are you fasting days planned or whenever you feel like it? For me, I'm almost likely doing 18-6. Great. I do Wednesday, Thursday typically. 24s. And then I might do a Saturday to Sunday. No, a Sunday to Monday. I did one last night. It's only 16. Dark Minds. Relationships don't benefit men long term. Just enjoy the love phase for the short time it lasts. Once the dopamine wears off, it's over. It'll never go back to baseline. It'll never get better. And you can debate me all you want. And the ladies, that we have this fantasy it's going to get better with time. No, we just allow each other's familiarity to either piss us off or just deal with it. It never goes back. Dopamine is a drug that wears off. I don't think any man should get married before 30, no matter what. I would agree with you. This must be one of the dumbest things men do, says Lord Spawn. It is. But men do it out of the kindness of their hearts. They dig deep in their hearts to look for that beautiful woman that they got with, to forgive her faults, to say, you know what, she's changed, and the trust will be there now. I just know it. She's learned her lesson. The grass isn't greener. That's not the answer, guys. The answer is to literally walk away. There is no such thing as trust anymore. She doesn't trust you, and you don't trust her. You cannot maintain a relationship based on that. And trust in today's world is extremely difficult with a handheld phone in your hand. The man with no name. The first time a woman is disrespectful, you cut them loose, it only gets worse. 100%. The answer is no. 2 letters, 1 syllable. No. Well said. MGTOW absolute, block, ghost, cut her off quick. I'd rather shit in my hands and clap. All women have battery life problems. The charge goes down for most women very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. You should show the brain graph that I sent you a couple weeks ago. I know I need to do that. It's a true tragedy that you are right. I wish things were different. The connection is the worst part about it. It's like a mind virus. It's difficult. It's difficult when you're rejected, especially the man. The man doesn't like to be rejected. The man wants to fix it. The man wants to get back. But the man's got to use logic in the situation. She left and rejected you, and she'll do it again. Right? Jimmy Baller. Guys have been going off lately on their counterparts due to female nature red pill rage. You're seeing that in videos, 100%. The homie in the house, what's up, brother? Had a friend of mine go back to his ex. She convinced him into an open marriage. Now he's miserable. There you go. He just summed it up. The homie just summed it up. Guys, you're miserable. You can't go back to baseline. They say that. I had a brother-in-law. My brother-in-law had an issue with illegal substances. And he was telling me about this illegal substance that the Germans use to keep their soldiers up and running. And I'm not going to say the word because I don't want to be flagged. But supposedly, the very first time this drug enters the system, it's this euphoric high that you always want to get. And every subsequent time after that, you can never, ever reach that level again. So that's why these people become addicts. They're all day long. They're trying to get back to where it only happened one time. Now, that right there is the relationship dopamine. Those first butterflies where it was amazing, that first kiss, that first what have you, and you can never get back to where it's at. So if you can never get back to where it's at, that charge is continually decreasing. You become miserable, frustrated because you want to get to that point. You know you can get to that point. If you just say wonderful things to each other. If you just go on a vacation together. How many times have you heard of couples that go on vacation? They have this wonderful 3-day event in Palm Springs, and they come back and their relationship is worse than it's ever been. They're covering up this potential like perfect relationship with covers, blankets that are just smoke screens. That's all they're doing. And then they get back to real life, the dopamine's worn off. Well said, homie. The only way a man can successfully have an LTR is to find a Xerox copy of himself with tits and a badge. Very well said. Women love opportunistically. If you can provide goods, she'll call you. Hypergamy rules. Well said. Big Tile Life. We men don't have abundance of women coming into our life. That's why we men are more vulnerable financially and emotionally. Whereas women have multiple guys coming in their life, and it's okay to reject whomever. There's a situation that's constantly occurring. So if you're in a boat, let's just say the lady wants to move out of the house. You're in a long-term relationship. She's going to divorce you. You want to hold on to that, right? That's what your mind's thinking. I don't want this to end. I'll change. And guys go back to their exes. They will give their ex a pass of all passes. That woman could have, my brother-in-law took my sister back. She had 5 affairs. And he still took her back. And then he finally gave up on the 6th and said, I can't do this anymore. He finally realized trust was completely non-existent. You cannot have a relationship with that. An open marriage. Yeah, can you believe that? That basically just says, you loser, I can do whatever I want, and you're just going to pay my bills. David Castro, what up, bro? My favorite Red Pill and MGTOW content on YouTube. I hope you won't ever get banned. Well, I hope not. I hope not. They believe they can't do better, but they definitely can. Well said, Darlie. Well said. These men, there's a lot of men, the moment they get rejected, their self-esteem plummets, quicker than you can imagine. And they literally believe that they have no options. They believe that this person that just rejected them is the only person that'll ever love them. And they're giving up everything to just go back, and in their mind, they believe it can work. If only I just change this about me. She'll see it and she'll change. She'll be nicer to me. We'll have an amazing relationship. We got 2 kids. It'll work. It'll work again because the kids will bring us together. Not the right thinking. Once that trust is gone, it ain't coming back. Once that dopamine high is gone, it ain't ever coming back. Good to see you, brother, all the way from France. Hope you're doing well out there. So that is the reason why it'll ruin you. Your self-esteem will plummet. Look at homie's friend that went back. Now they're in an open relationship. Can you imagine the self-esteem of a guy that took his ex back, and now they're in an open relationship? His self-esteem is spaghetti at this point. And yet he believes there's a psychosis with him. He can't do any better. But we know that's not the case. And it's ruining him. It is ruining him to go back. It'll ruin anybody to disrespect themselves and then to take back a disrespecting girlfriend or wife. They can't do worse. Well said. My buddy DT took his ex back that he got with in college. She came up with 2 kids. He went along with cohabbing and bio. She is still separated. What's your prediction? It won't work, and she will treat him like garbage. He will never be first. Really that simple. I am God. Good to meet you, God. Checking in all the way from Brazil. Is it Brazil? Is that your flag? Probably with most men in Sims is that they overinvest the whole time. Well said. Men are overinvesting in something that you shouldn't overinvest in. Just had another perfect motorcycle ride. Awesome, brother. How's the weather? It's 89 out here. Red pill medicine. I took my ex back twice, then ended up marrying her. Now going through terrible divorce. You couldn't be saying more true words. I know, as I lived it. Well, there was a point when I was going through my divorce, I thought everything. I wanted to get her back. I wanted to flip the switch and change everything. So I know exactly what that was. I mean, I was reading books on how to get your ex back, or how to make the relationship have trust again. And it was everything. And I just knew in the back of my mind, I knew that was never possible. But I tried to convince myself in this fantastical view of everything. I'll change. I'm 95% of the problem. She'll see my changes and she'll fall back in love with me, and we'll just have the Cinderella story. Right? Yeah. I'm so glad. And then I saw Big John's video, and I switched within like a day. So thank you, Big John. Hold on. We got Big Tal Life riding and making memories on his nice ride. Doing well, my brother. That's what's gonna right there. That peace and happiness is gonna make you. It's part of your treatment plan. It's a scarcity mindset. Something gets all they get. It's also an aspect of our biological imperative to provide and protect. These guys are desperate to reestablish that part of their identity. Well said. I would agree with that 100%. I put her in my girl rotation, dumped her. Weird stuff is that I started to catch feelings. I had to cut her off because of that. Some even have shit with them. I ghosted her and move on. Yep, you got to move on. You got to move on. You cannot get back. Ever, ever, ever. Weather was crisp and cool and flippin' June. Awesome, brother. Cable Summers in the house. I was dating a single mom, 3 kids, 2 different dads. Well, the different dad, 2 different baby daddies is a big red flag. I wanted to leave as soon as I saw myself babysitting kids that aren't mine. Sex was amazing and still available. She moved on, and I miss her. What do you miss about her? Right? But what's the reality of the situation? 2 different dads. You were a babysitter. She probably had, all sorts of things, but you will never be first in that situation, ever. Those kids and the fact the baby daddies will come before. They will come before you. She probably made you feel good because she obviously had been with 2 men and had 3 kids out of 2 men, so she knows how to charm a man. We've all been there. A man who can control his sex drive can conquer the world, says Big M. I would agree with you, brother. I understand that she is not wife material. No, she's not. If anything, hit and quit. Get a few throws, but sex will be good. But, in the end, that even wears away. The dopamine wears off even with that. We are brainwashed by society to put women on a pedestal. How do we combat that? It's hard. We have to focus on ourselves, and we have to remind ourselves every day that we are the prize, and that a woman should never be center in our life, should be a complement if we desire to choose that route. The moment you put a woman as central to your part, you now have stifled your progress. Your journey is now cut short. How to get your ex back. Yep, I remember reading a book, 2014. Burgess Meredith in the house. What's up to you? Good to have you. Low self-esteem men date or become stepfathers for single mothers. That is the reason. These men allow women to monkey wrench. Remember, especially single moms, they are good in bed. A lot of them are. They're very successful. They've been married. They've been living with someone. They know how to use charm to get the man to get with. But in the end of the day, a woman with kids, you're not first. Again, the kids come first, the baby daddy's child support second, the cell phone 3, the pets 4, the friends 5, the yoga pants 6, and where do you fit? You got to be real. Jamaica, good to have you. Tell us, is the Jamaican rum better than the Puerto Rican rum? To be honest, I'm getting a bit weaker. My endurance is down, but I'll be okay. It's all happening like it's supposed to. Nothing out of the ordinary. Good. Sounds like you got great providers, brother. Outside of the things going down with your ex, did you feel like you had to entertain her all the time? Yes. Yes, I did. That's another thing. It's like, it seemed like it always rested on me to have amazing vacations and amazing experiences and pick the most greatest restaurants and have the most awesome time. I think that's what she just expected. It does have a layer of pressure. Timmy Kramer in the house. My last day of the beach, enjoying freedom. He's out there in San Diego enjoying his life, watching the waves crash as he is free of any nagging. Lord Spawn, well said. I would agree. The main problem in general is the overwhelming amount of peace league worshipping beta cuck simps. MGTOW absolute knowledge. I would agree 100%. We literally give our power to females, especially women that are attractive, that are great in bed, that make us feel good. But do you believe their actions or their words? And do you understand the reality of what's behind that? When you pull those curtains back, you have a woman that has 2 baby daddies and 3 kids, getting child support, most likely alimony. She needs to maintain the provisioning. She gets it from her 2 baby daddies, and she's going to get it from the next guy. So she needs to show that guy how great she is in bed. She's great with her charm, and she's great with her words. And that's what caves men quick. Men fall head over heels quick when that happens. But you got to pull the reality back and the covers and the curtains and realize what is behind the curtains. Who is the Wizard of Oz? Well said. Men worship the peace league. A man who conquers the world because of his sex drive leaves a genetic legacy. Genghis Khan is the ancestor of 200 million. Damn right. When you see these exes in public without feeling anything, you conquered your demons, emotional discipline. When you get to a point, Satch, and everybody, when you feel indifferent, that's the key. If you're still hating your ex, you're still giving her power. It's the indifference, whether you care. She doesn't even pop in your orbit, in your thought patterns. Well said. Single mothers are good because they have to be. That is the truth right there, MGTOW Life. That is the truth. And I think you are with a single mother, if I am not mistaken. That's one thing I hate about my ladies, that batshit insane need for my fucking time. I work 12 hours with 1 hour travel time, piss off, biatch, I'm tired, I want to like, yeah. I think we've all been there, you know? We've all been in that situation. And where we want to be a good provider and a protector, and we want to have peace. But it's a challenge in today's modern day relationships. It's a challenge to get there. And especially guys who go back to their exes. It's not smart. It'll hurt you worse than the very first rejection. Because, there's a subconscious rejection that she's doing as well. She might consciously be inviting you back into her life, but she's subconsciously still rejecting you. It's really that simple. You're still losing. You just think you're winning. Never had Puerto Rican rum. I hear it's better. I don't know. But we know Jamaica for Bob Marley and rum. At least out here. Men, I think, lust first, then love second. When they get into the love parts, that's where things become tricky. And a lot of guys will position love or lust for love, when it's just a bunch of chemicals jumping in and out of their GI tract. The dopamine, serotonin, the oxytocin. Read about it. In fact, Mysterio sent me something that was, a diagram of that. Cable Summers, you're absolutely right. And everything that you're saying, I got blinded and I was not seeing reality. Well, we've all been there. We've all been there. I had a passenger on my motorcycle. She had nice T-ats, and now she doesn't. At the end of the day, she's a complete train wreck of a single mother. Oh, and how many are there? I know tons of them that fit that same description. Tons. I went back to an ex multiple times, and every single time it was the same bullshit. It'll never change. Walk away, gentlemen, says Will. Good to have you in the chat. I would agree with that statement 100%, Will. The tiger does not change its stripes. It'll never go back to where it was. We just fantastically believe that it will. Men are able to literally believe that. But women know that it can never go back. They're just going to play the game and try to convince us that they can. Well said. Walk away, gentlemen. Gladius in the house. How you doing, brother? Broner. When she crawls back, she basically failed to lock down commitment from the men that she was smashing during their break from the relationship. Ain't that the truth? If she's rejecting you, there is 1, 2, 3, multiple guys that have her attention and probably one or two that she's lying with or has been laying with. And that's a really hard truth to really accept when you realize the girl that you love is screwing some other man behind your back. That's really tough. That is a rejection that literally will break a man. And you have to understand, it's just female nature. It's just female nature. And hypergamy and monkey branching. She's just following what her brain is programmed to do. And so if you know all of this, in the future, would you get in a long-term relationship? Would you cohab? Would you marry? Would you give your heart away thinking, oh, she's going to love me forever? No, you're going to be cautious. You're going to navigate life by understanding female nature. So, I look at my ex and what I went through and her monkey branching, and guess what? Now I appreciate the fact that she got me to this point. Or I'd be another simp trying to get married the 5th time. Or the 2nd time. Right? Good comment, Broner. I took 15 ex-girlfriends, never never will love, play their stupid games so they can feel what we feel. Victor Cervantes, good to have you, brother. Well said. Oh, I've been with a single mother and tattoos. Yeah. Love is a non-existent human construct. Well, I love to say that to women. They say, what's your love language? And I say, what the hell is love? Oh, they try to convince me that it exists. It's just chemicals. Jake Rick, not having an abundance mindset would make you take an X back too. Well said, especially when you don't have options and don't want to put the work in to get more options. It's that one-itis. A one-itis is a lack of abundance. But a lot of guys put everything into a relationship. Oh, and the rejection is tough. And that is why they take them back. They don't want to feel that rejection aim. They believe that woman holds the key for them to be whole. And that is a fallacy. That is a way that'll ruin you. Semen retention, it builds sexual discipline, which gives you more energy to focus on your purpose. Win-win. I agree with that. Retaining semen helps you focus more on things about building your character and yourself and your business and your hobbies. Well said. Simple women with jobs like cashiers versus the educated women. Is there a difference when you interact with them? Yes, there's a difference. There's one of self-esteem. I think more educated women have more self-esteem, as Tom Likas says. Stay away from them. It's the women that have lower types of jobs, secretaries, admin assistants, that don't have as high. But we're also in the age of cell phones and technology and attention. So, at that point, it's just a flattened world. A crash is coming. Save your money and prepare, says Timmy. I would agree. It's not for everybody, though. I would agree on semen retention. And large TIOTs. All that. She drove me to bankruptcy. Don't do it, gents. All I do now is improve myself, improve my health, credit score. Each and every day is about improvement. This is what we learn when we begin to digest the red pill. To improve ourselves as men. To understand female nature. To not hate it. But to learn to navigate life through it. Dreddy G, any insights how to help a man stay away from giving attention to younger and semi-attractive women at the gym? Well, if they come and talk to you, that's all right. Any advice to help a man stay away from giving attention? I would just be there and work on yourself. I mean, if you're a good-looking dude with muscles and chicks are all about you on the gym, then either go at a different time when they're not going to be there. Go in the evening because they're probably watching Netflix. But other than that, if they're coming up to you, you could be a total dick. Maybe they'll run away, but they'll probably even be more attracted to you. Actually, do exactly what they're doing. Flip the switch. Now, there's probably nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Just act like you're busy, be indifferent. Act like they're a 5-year-old, your 5-year-old baby sister, when you were 12. It is a one hell of a betrayal. I would say if you marry, you should only marry to someone who you don't love. But respect as a human can work with as a team successfully. Love is selfish and narrow-minded in most situations. I would agree. Take love out of the situation. Never ever get involved in a relationship again thinking there's going to be love or it's going to be bi-directional, right? If you go in a relationship thinking she's going to love you as much as you love her, you're mistaken. They love different. Bro, why you kind of brought it? Reggie Brock, my ex got pissed, started saying you're going to the gym to look at women. That's right. There was strike 3 and you're out. All the way from Kentucky, Reggie. Yeah. Yeah, I like to go to the gym. I mean, there's some good-looking gals. I try not to look at them if they pass me in my view. You know, again, they're there for attention. Typically, most of them. Who can out cheat? Who? Men versus females, because men are susceptible to offering. I think females. Females are much more adequate at outsmarting men. Men typically get caught. I'm 20 years old now, never had a girlfriend, tried a lot, but these times it's impossible. My friends ask me a lot to try Tinder, but still no trace. Well, that's just the reality you're in. My boy's your age and he has the same results. It's just a very interesting dating market. Now, when you're 30, it'll be a different story. Did you hear about the American a few weeks ago that had moved to Colombia, Barranquilla, to meet a woman he fell in love with, bought a condo, and 2 days later was killed? Yep. Hopefully, I mean, when you go to Colombia, you need to understand slang. You need to understand how to speak, not like a gringo. Understand how people maneuver, understand how the country moves, understand what the correct taxis are, where to live. I mean, it sounds like this guy, he picked the wrong person. Sad, but it's, you know, it happens. He wanted love so bad, he was willing to move someplace for a woman in a different country, in a different language and culture to hopefully get that. And he was, you know, I bet it was planned. Or they saw him as a rich American and robbed him and whatever they did. I've been used and had to rebuild myself 3 times. A woman had big, you know, and tattoos, single mothers, all of them, always a walking train wreck, always. It's a shit show. And you got to ask yourself, am I going to be an actor in her shit show? Right? We know what the shit show is. We know the red flags. You guys know the red flags. If there are any of these red flags, you know that it's not going anywhere. You know you can't go the distance. And red flags are 99% of all women, and especially what they're holding in their hand. What was harder for you, being married or raising kids? Good question. Well, I'm still raising kids, so I think it's hard to raise kids, even after marriage. The only ex I respect is a German girl I dated and was madly in love. I had to leave her to come back to France. She cried like a baby. We're still in the honeymoon phase. The others are trash. We still were in the honeymoon. Well, you know, I've had a couple gals that I've gone out with that were wonderful. But I also know at the end of the day, what's going to happen. And I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. There's a very big difference. When you're a realist, you understand the dopamine's going to wear off. You understand familiarity will breed contempt if you're around each other all the time. You understand things are never going back to baseline. You understand that people's true characters and personalities are going to pop in. You got to be real about this so you don't get hurt again or taken. Look at MGTOW Life. Dealt with 3 of them. Now we had to rebuild everything. Now we learn. And it's okay that we've gone through, because now we're learning together how to maneuver and navigate life dealing with women. We don't hate women. We understand them. The entitled and bored, easily women are almost guaranteed to cheat. Well said, MGTOW Absolute. Mr. Gray is in the house. Good to see you. Jake says, I've had several ex-girlfriends reach out even after a few years. Unbelievable. Once you think they're out, they reappear. Oh, they'll always. I'm still talking. When I was a sophomore, my girlfriend was a senior. She's still reaching out to me. 1986. 35 years later. Unbelievable. That they are making $18,000 a year and still think that they're all that they are useful for is entertainment. Yes, they are wonderful entertainment at that point. The Delusion is a wonderful, you know what the Delusion is? It's a matinee movie. And if you could just sit back and watch it, it's the best form of entertainment out there. The delusion is just, it's comical. The woman I had on my bike for an eye candy yesterday, she always finished a sentence that explained her train wreck of a life with the words, and that's why I'm single. What about, you have no idea what I went through? I get that a lot. And that's why I'm single. This one gal that I was hanging out with, she'd go, nah, 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 nah. She, nah, 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 nah. Like I'd say something like, oh, I love Thai. Nah, 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 nah. I don't like Thai. Nah, nah, nah. It was like so weird. But it was entertaining as well. So you have to get to the point where literally you're watching a movie in the physical form of a woman. And then you'll be okay. I'm from Belgium, so love from Belgium. Belgium chocolate. Gladius, good to have you. Love it. Tell us about the women in Belgium. To me, a Belgian woman seems tall and skinny, very nice, well-breasted, probably not very fat, blonde or brown hair, gorgeous eyes. That's what I think. So, what would be a reason to have kids? I have no desire to have kids. It's risky. It's really risky, guys. And there's a lot of people that say, go get a surrogate. No way. Are you kidding me? The neighbors can turn you in. A man raising 2 little daughters, some liberal feminist is going to go nuts and call the authorities. I mean, just the risk afterwards would be also a deterrent. No way. It's not worth it. Unless you can get some sort of contract written in stone that she pays you if she leaves, and she pays, X amount. That's the only way I would have kids with the gal. She would have to have an agreement, be financially wherewith, and that she leaves or divorces, she has to pay me thousands upon thousands. Jerry G, if you want a woman to leave you alone, give her all your attention and she'll run from you like her life is on the line. Yep. If you want a chick, just start simping, send emojis, tell her you love her and you're in love with her 100 times a day. Oh, she'll leave really quick. Very well said. Women will gain weight and look like a walking hot dog without the bun at some point, inevitable. Their best years are 18 to 25. Words of wisdom from MGTOW Life, guys. That is absolute truth. They'll blow up like the Goodyear blimp. Hey, Rad. Hey, Gent. That Columbia story just shows that female nature is universal. Hey, Walt. Fairly good tennis in the house. I would agree. There's nowhere to hide. If they have a phone, which 95% of all women worldwide have a phone, what chance do you have? Come on. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. They have apps. There's people from India that are in this chat, from Belgium, from the Eastern Bloc, from India, or from the UK, from Scotland, from Ecuador. Guys, we all share the same internet worldwide, and so do women. The only difference is it's just done in a different language. Very well said. You are right. There's no point on having kids today. In today's generation, the father has no right, and I blame that on feminism. And so do I, David. The most powerful thing you can say to a woman when she tries to lure you into being a player in her shit show is, damn, that's crazy. Well said. HTO kid. So what's the protocol if you effed up and they hit you back up a long time later? Still avoid or what? Absolutely. But there is no reason. They have not changed. And if somebody asked me, if your ex came back, would you throw down with her that night? No way. Not even. If you throw down with an ex, you're still giving her power. Think about that. If you pay no attention to her, guess what? Now she respects you. Oh my gosh, there's nothing I can do. This guy's over me. And she'll probably put on all the stops to get you even more. It's that COVID unemployment desperation. Shit gets hard and they will be shopping. Well said, brother. A man adopting has a hard time with the adoption agency than a woman adopting. You know what? Here's what I was thinking last night when I got off that live stream. Guys want to take care of kids. You know what I would say? Go down and be a big brother to like a 4, 5, 6-year-old kid. Be a wonderful uncle if you have nephews and nieces. Be an amazing neighbor. Just try to volunteer with young kids in some form of fashion. Big Brother, I think Denzel Washington did that, and he's had amazing relationships. He was able to quasi-father before he had kids, and it really helped him, and it helped kids. So that would be a good. That's what I would do, because at the end of the day, you're going to have you'll form bonds, but you won't have to be worried about someone taking that from you. Soon, the only safe way for guys to have kids will be the artificial womb. Interesting, potentially. Good luck with getting the court system to give you a pass on that one. I'm telling you, man, even if a guy has kids and he did it all right, he's got millions, someone is going to say something. I mean, someone is going to blame him or accuse him of something. Is it realistic for a man and woman to be sexually attracted to each other for life? How can that? No. I don't think it's realistic. Men are always seeking a more fertile young woman. It's just our biology. Charles, Rad, my ex-33 is probably doing weird shit with some dudes. I could not take her back. No, you're not. You're not taking her back. You do not want to take her back. That's what we're talking about. Men do not take women back. It'll ruin you. It'll ruin you. When men get rejected, they're ruined in that moment or 6 months. They take the ex back. Now they're walking on pin needles with all that weight of being rejected the first time. Only to think, oh my gosh. Oh, they're thinking in the back of mind, when is she going to reject me again? When is she going to reject me? How can you live like that? It'll ruin you. MGTOW life, I always know at the end of the day what's going to happen. Very wise words. You always do. We know what's going to happen. Maktoum Ahmed, Indian, good to have you. All the way from India. It's got to be late out there. Why does marriage exist? When did it change? Marriage was only for the combining of resources and to grow and to expand and to maintain wealth or to maintain civilization and society and to bring families together. It was never about love in the beginning. And then somehow De Beers got involved in Hallmark and it changed. So I said it's changed. It's probably changed in the last 70 years, 80 years. I don't think my grandparents loved each other. They respected each other, but I don't think love was a part of it. It was just a different world back then. Gladius from Belgium. I mean, they're tall and nice to look at, but I have to be honest, Belgian relationship statistics are bad. I think it's an 83% won't last. Guys, even in Belgium, younger men should find a younger, in-shape woman with no kids to roll the dice with. Very well said, Dark Minds. And be very careful even with that. I think Belgium is one of the worst places. I just think like Europe, they have a very, I don't know, it seems like they're more reserved. And so they're less open to being emotional. Maybe that they're more cold. Would that be a good word to say? I think marriage went to shit when she introduced no-fault divorce. You 100%. Ronald Reagan signed that 1969 in California. We let weak men create hard times. Weak men create hard times. Strong men create easier times. Well said. Ashley Richards, I've been watching your channel for a couple weeks now. You make a lot of sense. I was married to a fantastic man, but unfortunately he passed a year ago. Condolences to you. It sounds like you respected him, and I'm sorry for your loss. We don't talk on this channel about hating women. There is a 1% to 2% of women out there that actually are very worthwhile women to be with, but they're very, very incredibly difficult to find. And there's some that watch this channel that respect men, and it's about men respecting women and women respecting men, regardless of the order you put that in. When we respect our gender roles and who we are in society, that's when society flourishes. But anyhow, condolences to you and welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. Reggie, look up Damien / I am not a cup. Shit's pathetic. All right. Damien / I'll remember that. Let's see. Damien / Okay. I've noticed when I end situation with a woman, they come crying back. But as soon as they end it, they're gone for good. It's like they have to be the ones to walk away or it hurt. You might have a lot to say there. I would agree with that. It's all push and pull. It's all push and pull. If you pull away, she'll push. If she pushes away, you pull. And so when somebody is, the whole classic, if you know she's going to break up with you, and then you break up with her first, she'll try to get you back in a lot of times, or vice versa. So there's a push and pull. And you're absolutely right, Jake Rick. HGO kid, I took my crazy train ex back last year, and she blew some stuff out of proportion, got me locked up for 3 days. I'm on 6 month probation. I was drunk when I stopped in community service. We'll just get back to where you're at, and learn from it. Learn from this, because you got a lifetime of living that's going to be amazing. And we've all struggled. We've all gone through shit shows. We've all had issues, but we can bounce back. And that's a good thing about being a guy. You can bounce back. Damaged goods. I know a single dad that was still court ordered to pay the mom child support, even though he had the kids. That happens all the time. I know a guy that's got full custody, pays his ex child support. Go figure. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Lisa's in the house. Hallmark World headquarters is here in Kansas City. It's got to be a lot of simps out there, right? A lot of simps in KC. Good to see you. Recon plane will find them. Get rid of child support. Get rid of child support, or at least to make it that level the playing field for both. If the guy has to pay $500, maybe she should pay the guy $500. But yeah, it's out of control. My nieces, cheaper groceries in the house. My nieces screenshotted me their 13-year-old schoolmate posting a bikini of her ASS. The girl was bragging about all the messages she received on Instagram. 304 is raising through. The future is doomed. Jeez. But that's happening all over. I mean, yeah, it's sad. It is sad what is going on with the mental state of a lot of these young women too. It's the phone, guys. It's technology. It's the attention they get. It's the wanting to keep up with the Joneses. Always keep your emotions out of interactions with a woman. We don't hate them. We're society. We understand them, and we adapt. Those are true words of wisdom right there, MGTOW Life. It's true that maybe the reason I can't find someone because I'm a pretty emotional guy myself because of the things that happened in the past. The best person you can find is sitting right on your chair inside of you. When you learn to love and accept yourself for everything, life blossoms. Ask Timmy Kramer. I got rejected by my parents and needed to do things on my own when I was 12 because I lived with my grandparents and they can't do that much, but I love what they did for me. Well, that is a rejection you experienced at a very young age, my friend, and now you change the story. That's all you do. Now you're a strong man. You've learned. Everyone goes through some sort of trial. Some are abandoned, some are adopted, some are rejected, some are abused. And you turn that into something powerful. Strength. We've all gone through it. That's why we have these channels to help each other. Putting him in a cage. Jeez. Otherwise, I would not be here. Well, we're happy you're here, brother. We're happy you're here. And this is where you learn to be even better. This is where you learn to put that story behind you. You know what? You might have a different story than guys that have been married and divorced. Imagine the story about going through life and being beaten down by a divorce court judge that destroys you, takes all of your money, makes you live out of a car. You could keep that story forever, saying that you're worthless now. Or you change that story and say, you know what? I got beaten down, but I'm getting back up. I'm going to rebel against defeat. I'm going to rebel against everything that's done to me, and I'm going to be the best version of myself for me. That's what you do. You quit living in that story, because that story is, number one, is a memory, and that story either has power over you or it doesn't. You got to decide. When you decide that it doesn't have any more power over you, and you let it go, and life moves on, and life begins to flow better. A purple-haired man hater served me this AM in Starbucks. I just smiled and say, nice hair. I have seen, Timmy, so many purple and blue-haired dudes lately. It's like I look at the state of these kids that just are so emasculated. It's really sad. Most likely raised by a single mom. So is it really true that once they're the ones to initiate the separation, they're gone for good? I've had varying results. It all depends on the situation. But whoever initiates, typically, yeah. I mean, mine initiated it, so that would make sense. Sometimes, not always. Majority. Ashley Richards. We went the traditional route. I was a stay-at-home mother and he took care of us. I miss him so much. What can I do to cope with the situation to make my life easier? Well, the fact that you respect him and you miss him and you're still talking about him today says a lot. You actually honored him. It's very rare. I hope you know that. And I think everyone in this chat would also agree that you stayed with him through thick and thin. What can I do to cope with this situation? Like work on yourself, work on your kids. Same thing we tell the guys, you know, what's the best thing you can do going through a horrible divorce or breakup? Work on yourself. You have no control, only about what you can control. Work on your kids. Cement the memory of your husband and the father of your kids with them, that he's always there. Raise him up. Teach them the values of being traditional. You know, but work on yourself would be the best thing to do. You know, I don't know how old your kids are, but if your kids are young, maybe get a babysitter once or twice a week, go to the gym, go on a hike, learn to process your emotions and accept the fact that you're at where you're at. Obviously it's fun. It's, you know, he's not coming back in this mortal coil because he's obviously passed. But that's a story that it is probably you're going to be with that for the rest of your life. And hopefully somebody pops in your life down the road that's a traditional. You probably have you'll have better odds finding a nice guy than a guy finding a nice guy like yourself. So I hope that helps. And come to these channels. Lisa Smith, Kansas is the headquarters for Hallmark and Kodak. And the Royals. I'm 26 and want to find the right chick to start a family with. How do you know she is the right one? And what are some red flags to watch out for? Thanks, TP Tactics. Well, you can go through my channel and read a lot about red flags and red pill. It's very risky. You need to understand the risks and the rewards. And I would really, really understand it, because if you got married at 20, let's say you married a 22-year-old, by the time she's 30, she's changed in a lot of ways. But when she has a baby, she'll change a lot. So you got to weigh the risk and the reward. I think one of the biggest things, make sure she comes from a solid family. Is the mom and dad still together? Was she raised? Does she have good view of a father? That might be a start. I don't push marriage and I don't push cohabitation, and I typically don't push LTRs just because the risks outweigh the rewards. It's not that I hate relationships. It's just I know the reality in most cases. But there are 1% to 2% that might fit that bulb, and you might find one. Mr. Gray, personal theory. After much thought, I do believe the majority of women stop maturing emotionally at around age 6. I would agree. Lord Spawn to Ashley, focus on your kids. I would agree. Focus on your kids. TP Tactics, that is no longer available. The risk is too high. Yes. We would love to find a woman to be married. Every guy in this room would want to be with a woman that had his back, that took care of him and appreciated him, where they could build a family and a foundation forever. But guys, that's not reality anymore. The modern day landscape has completely changed. It doesn't exist. Well, it does exist at a 1% to 2% level. 98% of all relationships are going to struggle. Simple as that. And again, is the juice worth the squeeze? And I have not found any reality, any version of reality that is true. And I've dated a lot of gals, and I can't see it. I just think we're too indoctrinated. We're too addicted to technology. We're too attention seeking as a humanity now, especially women. And I just don't see it ever getting good for the man. Sorry. Let's just say you get married to a gal. You're just one guy giving her attention. She's also got a phone. She's got orbiters in her Facebook account. Mine had multiple guys that were Facebook guys, friends from, they're friends of hers from 7th grade. Can't compete. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Absolutely. What age did you marry? 24, then turned 25 right away. Wait, Johnny may be the purple guy who was me, not really. It's just my character. There you go. Let's see, where are we at here? We're down to Ashley. My kids are well taken care of, financially, takes to my husband. Good for you. Focus on them. Focus on the legacy that he left. Focus on how you guys had a wonderful marriage. About how you guys made it through thick and thin. Show them what it's like to be an honorable traditional woman and a wife and a mother. I applaud that. And help them to be the best versions of themselves as you're the best version of yourself. Let the sadness and the shock continue, but you figure out a way that you use it to the strengthening of your family and kids. My best friend in 2009 was a pilot, and he sold, fixed, he knew everything about planes. Well, we were up in Whistler as a family, and I was reading on the news about and him and his wife had a great marriage, 4 kids. In fact, my ex-wife was the nurse of one of their kids. He crashed his plane with another guy on the way to his uncle's funeral in the side of a mountain in Arizona. Obviously died on impact. And she continues to keep the legacy of Scott, this was in 2009, alive. And the kids have been well. Obviously, they're without their father. She did not run out and rush into marriage or any of that stuff. She was very, very protective of her kids. And they're doing great, considering their father was killed in a plane crash. The same plane that he fixed and rebuilt. Supposedly, this sort of engine of the plane had notorious effects. You know, it was linked to massive amount of crashes. So anyway, it was really sad. But they did it. They got through it. And they're still getting through it. You should look up Fresh and Fish. Women hate men. That piece shows so much hatred for men. Interesting. Interesting. Anti-man bun alliance says, damn, not a big fan of man buns. Levin Zanderman, the house will never be big enough. The car will never be new enough. Correct. Condolences to Ashley. Yes, Sir Bob. You too can chase excellence. Well said. Yeah, just hang in there. We're all fighting our own battles. Kay is in the house. Good to have you. Good to have you, Kay. Back again. Archipelago, how do you happen to know so much about female behavior? And would you consider yourself an expert? Impressive how consistent the info you're giving. I was married. I have a daughter. I grew up with 3 sisters. I had a couple girlfriends before that. I've gone on dates. I don't know if I am an expert. That's funny, but I've seen everything. You know, I started watching these channels and I realized, you know, I know what to look for and I know what my issues were. And so it's just more of experience than anything, but thank you, Archipelago. And a lot of guys in here that have a lot more experience than me that have gone through it, but it's just all about helping our brothers navigate a life so you don't end up where John Boston and I have ended up. You don't want to be in a courtroom. You don't want to be alienated by your kids. You don't want to be monkey branched on, or you want to avoid that at all costs. It's all about saving men. That's the reality, why we do this. And any guy that charges money needs his ass kicked. Unless he wrote a book. Ubermensch is in the house. Good to see you, brother. Ed, I did that for my daughter, but I didn't know what I now know. Never again. Men first, sorry that I have sinned. Well, we've all sinned. You know, this is all a process of learning. We're learning how to navigate life. That's it. We don't hate women. We understand our role and we understand women. One thing I hate about myself is when I try to talk to a girl, my face gets the reddest of red, and it's pretty embarrassing. Well, it's because you're putting a woman on a pedestal. That's exactly why. You're nervous because you believe she is higher than you. You're also nervous because she's going to reject you. So your anxiety, even before you get to her, is already through the roof. You got to get to a point where you don't give a crap about anything. You just go out and just say, hey, if you want to meet a gal and she looks at you and plays with her hair and whatever, I do not cold approach. If someone gives me a sign or a smile and I'll say, hey, I'm so-and-so, what's your name? I've seen you around. It's a very simple conversation, but again, if you're getting red and embarrassed and worried and sad, it's because you've placed her on a pedestal that's as high as the Empire State Building. You got to put yourself on the pedestal and just be casual. Just go in with no expectations. She can reject me if she can. Right? Is it possible for us to turn the tide by spreading masculinity in society, or is it society too far gone with purple hair? Well, everything's toxic, Barely Good Tennis. Everything's toxic now. That's what we're trying to push around. We're trying to bring back masculinity, because masculinity is the key to maintaining society. The blue hairs, the green hairs, the feminism, the liberalism is only destroying it. So hopefully by us banding together, we'll do something. I feel bad for people who take their exes back. It's always a bad idea, says Ghost Princess. It's always a bad idea. Never, ever bathe in dirty bathwater. What if you guys took a bath? Now, most guys take showers. I'll take a salt bath if my muscles hurt. But what if I got out of that bath, and then the next day I'm like, I'm going to save the water. It's still dirty. It's got my skin in it, skin cells. So I'm going to add some hot water to it. It'll be like the bath I just came out of. And I expect myself to get clean. But yet I've sweated. I've gotten dirtier. I've slept. Maybe I did some yard work. And I get back in that bath thinking I'm going to be clean again. That is what it's like to take an ex back. You can't get clean. Why don't you take a brand new bath, empty the bath water, and put new bath water in? Then you'll get clean. So hence you're replacing that ex with a somebody brand new. Big red flag, says Carl. What the mother is like. My ex-wife's mother was an entitled narcissist, cheating narcissist. Guess who turned out the same, guys? My wife said she was never be like my mother-in-law, and she turned out to be like her mother. Should have saw that coming. I wish I would have known that in the beginning. I would have run to the hills. What is your definition of a friend? A guy that has your back through thick and thin, that'll call you when you're down, that'll listen to you. Ghost Princess, how is your day going? Very well. Tell me where you're from. Mysterio in Canada, how many emails are you getting? Since I get a lot, 30, 40 a week. And I respond to every single one of them, as you know. As you know. I want to help as many men as possible. And I will take, that to me is valuable. I will respond to everybody that sends me an email. And I will get, and if you want to talk to me on the phone, I'll talk to you on the phone. There's been many guys here that I've talked to on the phone. My heart and prayers go out to you and your children. Well said. Good to see that you have a good head on yourself. Value that. You're one of the rare ones. I would agree. 100% agree. You and I are Generation X. Thank God we had our childhood before technology invaded our lives. We are the generation of the cordless phone. Well, I remember the corded phone. I got one for Christmas. I was 11 years old. 12 years old. And a black and white TV. The microwave, and so much more. Guys, we didn't even have a VCR. Do you know what a VCR is? We didn't have a VCR till I was a junior in high school, 1988. A VCR. My dad didn't even get cable. We would go to my neighbor's house to play Atari. We used to play Pitfall. Pitfall was our favorite little Atari game. But you're right. We didn't grow up with these phones. We had, and I say this all the time. I remember Friday after school, 2:20, get on the bus, you go home, sophomore year. My girlfriend would give me a note, and I could only read it on Saturday. Well, I always read it Friday, and then I would write her a note. And back then there was no call waiting. So, there's 6 kids, my parents, 8 people with the phone. Good luck even talking to them on the phone. And same thing with them. So you went through 72 hours of not talking to that person, thinking about her, or thinking about him if you're a girl. And then you were strong. Nowadays, you can't go one minute without hearing from someone. Right? The anxiety is through the roof. Good to have another Gen X in here. Did your kids meet their great-grandfather on your site? Yes. Yes, they have. Oh, my son loved his great-grandfather. Absolutely. He just passed 2 years ago, 103.8 years old, almost 104. I think widow and widowers make better parents and can't be compared to single parents, which are the result of nasty divorces. Widow and widow are bound to God's style of family by culture. I would agree with you. Widows and widowers they're out of they don't fit this because they didn't divorce. They might have had issues, but for the most part, they stuck it through. Well said, Ghost Princess. I've been following all the channels you mentioned. Why did your colleague FJT block me from his page? I didn't say anything mean. It doesn't bother me, but I'm curious. I didn't know he blocked you. FJT's a good dude. Just send him a text or an email. Fast to sex or slow to sex? Does that impact longevity in an LTR with a woman? For me, no. But a lot of women have certain rules that they put together. And if they cross them, they feel guilty. Thank you for your support. It hurts, but I'll find a way to get through this. Absolutely, you will. I 100% confidence in you. The MRI and MGTOW movements have a lot of resentment for women. Get prepared for lots of them to block you for being female. It's pretty common for them. I think you're right, but they don't hate women. It's kind of like they don't want anyone in their club, right? I just got started on investments and am addicted, working hard, never missing a shift, living as low and as minimalistic as I can while the sheep will mock me and make fun of me. Don't worry, fools. You're way ahead of them, brother, Lord R. Good to have you. I will get you all. The red and black pill ideology saved me. Stay cold, gents. Saves a lot of people. Saves a lot of people. Ashley Richards, I don't understand Ghost Princess. I enjoy that dude, but it doesn't bother me. I don't care. I will still continue to watch their stuff. Yeah, watch their stuff. FJT's a good dude. The next generation behavior will be very interesting to see play out, being raised by narcissistic and entitled single moms. If we're even here as a country, this is the downfall of the U.S. Feminism is the downfall. What feminists don't understand is that woman's worth just as much as a man, but not in the same fields. Girls want to be a man, build career till 40, and want to be a woman and raise children. Choose one. You're right, Jablonski. Figure out what role you want to play. You can't do both. It's very difficult to do both and to maintain a relationship. You have to understand and be forgiving. The men's reaction are perfectly natural. That does not make them good. It's very immature, but they have a rough time, Ghost Princess. We definitely go through a different reality than women. Timmy Kramer actually sounds like a class act. There are still good women. I would agree with you, Timmy. What's your ex-mother-in-law like? Narcissistic, entitled. Victim. Your real friends will talk smack to your face and talk nice about you behind your back. Well said. I call my friends that all the time. But yet at the end of the day, we still, we got each other's back. Karl March, all the best from England as well. Don't take an ex back, and also the ex of another man. You see red flags because she's showing you what she is able to do by monkey branching. Well said, Darlie. It's not a movement, it has no leaders. It's a way of life, and women can't stand to take accountability for what they've created, plain and simple. 98% of those women do not take accountability. Fairly good tennis rat. Are you familiar with the vasopressin gene? It's the gene that is responsible for feelings of attachment. Turns out the length of the gene causes some people to have a hard time breaking up. Yes, I have read about that. It's very interesting. There are some men more emotionally, they attach more so than most men. I don't know what it is. Could be diet, could be genetics, could be all sorts of things. Cultural. We are praying for Ashley. VCR, don't you mean CCR? The VCR tapes, the big tapes you had to rewind. When Blockbuster, you guys even know what Blockbuster was? Blockbuster ceased to be around 15 years ago, but that was the Blockbuster and Hollywood Video. I'm going old school with that. Betamax was still a thing, and I remember Betamax. And remember the laser disc? Lisa Smith? Funny, Betamax. I understand why they're angry, but we aren't all like that. And no, we're not saying you're like that. Absolutely not. We're saying 1% to 2% are women that are good. But the majority aren't. Or, well, the majority are not I would not hitch my wagons to 98% of all women out there. Just it's too risky. But you and the gals in here seem to be outside of that, or you wouldn't be watching these channels. See you later, guys. Crazy Late. Have a nice evening to you. Glad you are here, and we'll see you next time. Pitfall is it wasn't that a great game? Oh, I loved it. It was the best. Oh my God. I can't even play an Xbox. My kid tried to get me to play. There's too many buttons. I need a joystick and one red button. Or I'll do the Nintendo with the A and B. That's it. Other than that, I'm dumb as rocks when it comes to that. No patience. HDO Kid is a good example of just somebody saying something bitter toward me because I'm female. Don't take it personal. Just ignore it. You know what? We all have our issues. We can all agree and disagree. Never had a VCR till 85. It was 88 for us. Anyhow, everyone's welcome in this chat. And everyone has a perspective that, we value. And there's people, and, everyone's got a different perspective. That's all. Rebel against fuck your old. I'm going to be 50 in 2022. Who cares, right? We need a museum for 90s electronic to show these spoiled kids that their complaints aren't idiotic, that their complaints are idiotic. It's not funny. I agree. You know how much a Walkman cost? A Sony Walkman? I remember it was like $109 in 1984. Do you know how much that is today? Like $1,000. Now people are buying $1,200 iPhones like nobody's business. But $109, I wanted a Walkman so bad, but my Santa Claus couldn't afford it, or he couldn't make it. And so I got the knockoff. It was like an Emerson. You guys remember what Emerson was? Or an RCA. It was yellow too. Total knockoff. It was probably like $39 or something. Piece of crap though. But anyhow, we all wanted the Sony Walkman. And hey, how about the Sony Watchman, where you get the black and white TV that looked like a Walkman? The Watchman. Just remember, it's the internet, and some people just don't care what women have to say. It's just how it is. It's not right, but it's also not worth being upset about. I would agree. If we can just allow our feelings not to overcome facts, it's as simple as that. You're not good. It's funny. I've made some videos, and I think they're not mean, but I get people that thumb down them. Or I'll get comments, and I'm an old, washed-up dude, and people can say what they want. Who cares? It's not going to affect me. There's always going to be haters of some sort. But there's always going to be people that'll push the buttons of others. You just let it roll off you. It's because the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. David Cummings. That's a song by LA Guns. The devil you know, right there, sitting on my wall. So there you go. Did you ever watch Life of Abundance? I'm curious of your thoughts. Life of Abundance. It sounds familiar. What is it? Who is in it? It has nothing to do with you being female. Just dismantle the false label you put on MGTOW. Don't be so shallow. What's FJ's email? I don't know. I've got it. Send me an email at rebelagainstdefeat@gmail.com. Not sure why you feel the need to. I don't really care. The MRA are for men that don't trust God to help them through I'm just observing and watching. There's sour seeds in all these movements, and we're not saying anything about anybody. It's just, it is what it is. If a man tries to tell a woman about her life and vice versa, then we get we know what we're dealing with. And some guys have been through a lot where we don't trust any word from women. 4 years ago, I probably wouldn't be talking to Ghost Princess or anybody. And now I just realized, you know what? It is what it is. I have no problem with females in my chats or even commenting. There are some good women out there, but they're rare. My ex had me blocked on social media for 7 months and unblocked me a week ago. You think it's her way trying to bait me back in? 100%. That's a page out of the playbook, my brother. Do you have lots of free times for yourself? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. If I was a man, I would be hurt and angry too. I just miss my husband so much. Well, and you should. You should miss him. You sound like a good dude. You sound like a guy that was traditional and wanted to be a provider and protector and love his family. And it's really sad that he went early. He must have been a very young man because you look pretty young. FJT is a good content provider. I'm gonna I'm gonna skip over some of this stuff. Get down to Chris here. I took my son's mother back 9 months after breaking up. 1 year of pure hell. Once you take out the trash, leave it there. Hit and quit. Lumber still high. Stacking cash, bro. Taking cold showers. Take my cold shower every morning. Good for you. Kicking it up in Canada. Lumber is out of control. Yeah, I mean, look, taking an X-Pac is not recommended. It really isn't. Don't do it. And it's not the fact we don't think you can love that person again. It's just not. It's not recommended. It doesn't ever work. The only thing I can say for all of us is that the hardest thing is knowing that another MF is watching your kid grow and nothing you can do about it apart from doing the wrong thing. Yeah, that is also a fear. Yeah, you don't want another guy raising your kids. Siddharth K, I think a lot of men may choose to live a simple spiritual life and opt out of regular society in the coming decades. I think that's happening already. What's the best riff you have heard from a rock metal artist? For me, it's the Cult, King Contraryman. I saw the devil, the Contraryman. I saw that. Love Removal Machine. Love Removal Machine is probably my favorite riff of all time. And Detroit Rock City by The Kiss. Thanks for being in here. Definitely thanks for being in here. Send me an email and we'll get you set up. Going back to an ex is like taking a shower and putting your dirty underwear back on, says Sean, 100%. Well said, brother. Well said. Well said. Sony Walkman was extremely expensive. You look great for 49. Oh, thanks, brother. I try to get you just, it all comes down to just get exercise and just getting through life. You know, don't let life beat you down. I remember desperately wanting an MP3 player. Oh, the 90s. Yeah, I remember that. Emerson. You guys remember Emerson? And then Sony knockoffs? Oh, they were everywhere. Bring back Pitfall. Yep. Sean's in the house. Facts, brother. An ex will only consider you when they go out in the world and fail. The grass is not always greener. Well said. Yeah. They come back because they want it easy. I grew up reading all the Louis L'Amour books, just like my dad. Lifting weights and playing football, made my own money. There you go, guys. You can do it. Brad, any hard parts to your real life job? Just dealing with executives at my company. Guys, they're not on the front lines, you know. They're in back boardrooms thinking they can call the shots. They don't know what the enemy is. That's my issue. Ubermensch. It's not sweet, he says. Thanks for your service, Brad. I'm still alive just because I found this channel and you told me the truth. It was just an illusion that I made in my mind of that person, but she was not better. I did not make her better. Yep, it's just an illusion. Lone Wolf in the house. Good to have you, brother. It's an illusion, guys. We literally love the fantasy. We love the fantasy. And that's why we go back to exes. We want to believe in the fantasy again. The fantasy is not the reality. Taking your ex back is eating your own vomit. That's funny. I agree. Taking your ex back is like taking a bath in last week's bath water. Yes. One of my favorite things to say. I got to go, but you guys in my prayers. Good to have you here, Ghost Princess. Check out my channel, Ashley. It's for Christian women, and we love chatting with ladies like you in comments. If you allow another man to raise your child, you probably shouldn't have had one. That kid will reflect nothing of you, and you'll hate it. Correct. My friend took his ex-wife back after she realized other men were not waiting for her after all. Plan B, guys. That's another thing. You want to be Plan B? I sure as hell don't want to be Plan B. I don't want to be that knockoff Emerson. I want to be the Sony Walkman. I don't want to be a knockoff. I don't want to be Plan B or Plan C or Plan D. Talk about low self-esteem. Man, we're valuable. And we have to treat ourselves as such. Channels like this literally save dudes from committing suicide every day over women. Love can kill you if you let it, Jay Craig. 100%. 4 of my friends took them. took themselves out based on a divorce. Yeah, it's real. Shit's real, guys. It is real stuff. Depression, sadness, rejection can kill you. Literally. And why? Because we put somebody or something up on a pedestal. We gave everyone our power. Everyone our power. A woman our power to control our emotions. When we should never have put her on a pedestal. She should have only been a compliment. We should have been on purpose. That's our pedestal. It's real. That illusion, the fantasy of why strippers are so fun. There you go. Have you ever had a priest or nun discourage you or question your decision about relationship? No. I've really never had deep conversations with either. Chris says, don't date single mom, folks. If they can't stay with the father of their own, what chance do you have? Single mothers are looking for a disposable plow horse. 98%. Yes, absolutely. It's not recommended, Chris, is it? Thanks for your help. We need it, I hope, for a lot of good things for you and your kids. We have your back. Men first. Yes, we do. We have to get to the point where women are a complement to our lives instead of the main focus. It's just that modern day society does not want us to do that. Modern day society wants us to be the plow horse, to take over single moms. I saw a buddy sent me YouTube of why men, you had to see it. You can probably find it on YouTube. These transgendered women, which were men that turn into ladies, why men should date them and why we are being haters for not dating transgendered women. I mean, that's the narrative we're seeing, guys. That we're being that men are being shamed for not dating transgendered women. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So yeah, society is telling us what to do, to be a plow horse, to do everything, to just shut up and do everything society wants us to do. We're not doing that. Fairly good tennis. Can ending a relationship raise to the same levels as a divorce? Or is a divorce worse because of being guaranteed? Well, I think it still causes issues. You know, rejection, regardless if you're in an LTR or divorce. Divorce is obviously, I think it's more impactful than an LTR because you can just leave that unless you have kids. But yeah, divorce, just dealing with the courts and the paperwork and just the whole idea in your mind that the marriage turned into a divorce, just that psychological rejection is also difficult. So that's my take. But the single moms are so fine. It's so tempting, but you know you're disposable, so it takes away the drive to do anything commendable with or for them. There's beautiful single moms, I'll tell you that. And I've gone on a couple dates with them in the past, but I would never marry them. Those single moms I'm talking about, not the Ashley Richard types. The single moms that divorced their husband and they're extracting tons of resources while he lives in the basement of his mother's house. That's the ones I'm talking about. Well, I don't think a lot of us support Biden. I just think he's a victim and he blames everyone else, and he's a liberal. He's a feminist. He's a feminist. I like strong leaders. And I believe weak leaders are liberals. Craziest thing I've ever read a guy doing over divorce was he lit himself on fire on the steps of the court that took his kids as a form of protest, and no one cared. Jeez. Crazy, dude. Lenny and Squiggy rule over Potsy and Ralph. Potsy and Ralph they weren't even like simps. We're being shamed and accepting the Lizzo types too, as if men will ever choose that over a size 4. I saw something. I was looking at YouTube. I was watching Coach Greg Adams, and there was like this little YouTube short, and it showed Lizzo in the mirror. Just she was loving on her girth, and it looked disgusting to me. I can't imagine why this whole fat acceptance movement. It's just disgusting. I'm sorry. It's just unhealthy. It's the most unhealthiest thing out there. Single moms, practice only. I would suggest working on yourself so you can qualify for something better. But if you must play with them, treat her like the poisonous viper she is. Ubermensch, Biden prefers little kids. that sit on his lap. Sup, guys? Started a new job today after moving to a new area 2 weeks ago. Stay true to what's important. It makes a difference. Good to see you. Good for you. Glad you are moving forward. I've turned down single moms as damaged goods. I can't deal with the drama. Smart. Hizzo Lizzo. Alex M in the house. I broke up with my girlfriend a month ago, and this just pops in my feed. Universe is signaling you as well. Thank you for this. You just don't take her back. There's no reason to. She disrespected you to reject you in the beginning, and you'll disrespect yourself by taking her back, and she'll triple or quadruple disrespect you, and it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't. Save the hassle. Single mother is a real pandemic. I would agree. Single mothers are raising kids to turn into villains. They're the ones that are shooting up businesses. They push the government and society, and society pushes the narrative on us, and if we don't accept, we are the villain. Ain't that the truth? HTO. Yeah. 30 years after my dad's divorce, he still has PTSD. He raised both me and my sister. I tried showing him the RP, but he is too far gone into blue pill. Still believes in the fantasy, and a lot of guys do. A lot of guys still believe there's somebody out there. Still hurt. There's still guys that have been divorced 10 years that are still wanting their ex-wife to come back and pull him off the shelf because he's been waiting up there all dusty for her to come back. Hasn't moved on, hasn't improved. Only to believe in the fantasy. Someday she's going to come back. I just know it. She's going to say that she's forgiven me and I've forgiven her and she made a big mistake. Do not take an ex back. I don't care how many kids you got. I don't care if you gave her part of your bone marrow. You don't take her back. I don't get how the heavy chick on the show, This Is Us, won't lose weight, and on the show has her husband simping over her. I think that's just written into the script. That's the narrative of life now. Think about it. Biden is creepy. I lucked out being single and childless at 50. Nothing can go wrong from here. Freedom, my brother. Based, man, based. So what would you suggest to really keep focus on this, working on ourselves and healing? Get to the gym, do new things, go on hikes, ride bicycles, learn to skateboard, learn to shoot guns, be in archery. You know, if you like cars, get an old car and start working on it. Just anything you can do to get your mind off rejection. Anything you can do to improve yourself or your position in life. You know, or build a hobby, learn woodworking, learn how to cook, go take a cooking class. You know, things that you can do better. That's what I started learning how to cook because I didn't really know how to cook. My ex-wife was a wonderful cook. And I learned how to make steak and salmon, and you know, I made turkey dinner for Thanksgiving, and you know how to make really great dishes, and asparagus and Brussels sprouts, and how to cook shrimp, and you know, all sorts of things. I actually enjoyed it. At first, I hated it because I didn't know how to do it, and change is different. But I soon, and now I enjoy it. I really get involved in cooking really good meals and learning new things. At first, the steak sucked ass. It was horrible, but I learned how to do it, and I watched videos by what's his name, Gordon Ramsay and Guy Fieri, and I just really got into it, and I could do it. And once I made a great steak, I made another one, and then I learned how to do salmon. So it's just constantly learning new things. Time travel. Go back to the past where your last kid is born and then get out. Would you do it, or go back to the courtship of your ex and get out? Courtship. That's the easy one. A good song and a very good band that talk about this stuff is Mad at Gravity. Walk Away. Give it a listen. Mad at Gravity. I will. Slaves is another good band I've been into lately. Their first one, or Beautiful Death. That's really good. That was my divorce CD. That 9 Inch Nails. Do you think that all men should try monk mode for a while to truly understand that living alone is yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. No. Dude, take some time out for yourself. Do everything that you can as a man. Just avoid relationships and dating for 6 months and see what you do. You know, work on yourself. And even if you get back into dating a girl, you're going to be stronger. Captain Obvious up in here. Cryptic says, apparently being obese is sexy now. Not for me. Jiminy Christmas. Gross. Not a fan of Lizzo either. I'm always doing cardio workouts for my health. Good for you. I don't understand why that's attractive. I don't understand it. I don't understand why a Kardashian would remove ribs to have a skinnier waist. Doesn't that make her body even more susceptible to damage and potential death? The rib cage protects vital organs, but they're removing ribs now. It's just the delusion is everywhere. How do you like your steak? Medium. Just like you. Biden is a very interesting dude, and I'm not a fan. Were we meant to be meat eaters or vegetarians? Well, Jesus had lamb at Passover. My teeth have fangs. And those are for eating meat, not eating asparagus. So I think we're designed to eat meat, but I don't think we're designed to eat meat like 100% of the time. But I'm a meat eater. If you're a vegetarian, so be it. Don't laugh at me, but I learned how to grill the other day. I'm 35. Hey, I was 46 when I learned how. But it's fun, isn't it? It's not funny. I wonder if that guy's okay, the one that allowed Salt Bar to feed his woman in front of him. Oh, jeez. That dude was whacked. Totally whacked. What age did you leave home and did you ever move back? 17. I moved home for one summer, and that was it. Never went back. In fact, when I go back to visit my parents, they want me to stay with them, but I always stay in a hotel because I like, I'm traveling for work and I get the points. But I always take them to dinner and hang out. I'll go to the house for an evening. But I've never gone back. ZL, my long son. Is that an eggplant? My eggplant? I see what you mean. Home, you mean DHR. Salt Bay, sorry, typo. Well, there's some weird dudes out there, man. I mean, the simping is real. Simping is out of control. But never take an X back, it's going to ruin you. It's not smart. It's not right. The rejection's already happened. The trust is non-existent. It'll never be existent. Your life will be miserable. You'll walk on eggshells, plus have the rejection holding on to you. Right? 26 when he found out about MGTOW. I was 44, 43. Good to see you, Lisa. Have a good one. Take care. All right, guys. This has been a great live stream. You guys be well. We'll catch up again. And we'll go from there. Let's see. I got 2 little comments here. I slapped my mother and left. Ha! Let's see. Personality-wise, who appeals to you more, mom or mother-in-law if they were your age? Not my mother. Kim Kardashian doesn't get any respect from me. Degrading herself on film for money isn't classy. No, it is not. I think she's disgusting. Brad, women get mad at me when I tell them Shallow Hal was a funny movie. Oh, it's a great movie. Shallow Hal was a great movie. He was a chubby chaser, but he thought she was skinny, right? You guys have been great. Peace out.